Um, so without further ado, we're going to get right to it, man. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Gray Beards Matter podcast. I'm your host, Klip Eastwood. Tonight's conversation may be uncomfortable for some, but sometimes the conversations like that are the most uncomfortable are the ones that are most needed. First and foremost, this is a judgment-free zone. We don't do that, but it is a safe space for my guests and anybody that comes in who has an experience or has a conversation or has a topic. So feel free to listen, feel free to chime in, and feel free to understand. My line is open post episode if you feel that you need any more input, any more sources or resources um, pertaining to this matter. Not just this episode, but all episodes. Like I said, this is a judgment-free zone. We're not tripping. We ain't casting none. We're here to listen. We're here to learn. We're here to understand. Because understanding is where the healing begins, in my opinion. Right? And again, it's just my opinion, not my way. So let's talk about it. Last week we talked about domestic abuse and how big of an issue it is. We discussed a lot of the warning signs, the impact it has on individuals and families, and why these kind of conversations are pertinent, right? Why they matter. Hence, gray bears matter. Tonight we're taking the next step. Instead of talking about domestic abuse, we're listening to someone who's lived through it. Before we begin, I want to make things clear. Domestic abuse doesn't discriminate. Women, men, children, people of the same sex relationships, older adults, teenagers can all become victims. Tonight's guest is sharing her story, but her story represents one survivor's journey, not every person's. Gray Bears Matter isn't about choosing sides. That's not what we do. It's about choosing the truth. Our goal isn't to judge. Our goal is to understand, possibly give some input. Certain topics we aren't subject matter experts on. Matter of fact, majority of them. But for those topics that we feel deserve a story, deserve the experts, we will have them in here. My word. Before we begin, I want to make one thing clear. I'm sorry. Um, Tonight's guest is sharing her story, but her story represents one survivor's journey, not everyone's. Gray Bears Matter is about choosing truth. Our goal isn't to judge. Our goal is to understand, and through understanding, we hope that someone listening tonight realizes that they are not alone. Let me give you some CDC facts, right? Give you a little more pertinent understanding of what it is we're talking about. What's good, bro? My mans. I see him. That's my man, Noble Conte, audio, motorcycle audio professional here in the DMV area. I recommend for sure. If you heard his work, you know his lineage and his professionalism and his word. And I don't stamp anybody that I don't rock with. He's been a sponsor on the show. He's my man in real life. Holler at him. Click on his name and learn something. Without further ado, man, we're gonna get right to it because I don't want my guests waiting on me any longer. But overdid. Let me clarify one thing right now, so we all understand how this is gonna go. Angela is gonna call in, or I'm gonna call Angela. It's gonna be an audio interview, so y'all bear with us. Just listen, take a little bit of time and listen to her story. It's her story, and I got her back. CDC facts number one. Between 2020 and 2024, law enforcement agencies reported that 1.1 million victims of domestic violence involving serious violent crimes, i.e., murder, rape, robbery, and aggravated assault. Nearly 75% of those reported victims were females. So obviously 25 had to be men. 1.1 million reported. between 2020 and 2024. The CDC estimates that domestic violence is much more common than police reports suggest. Over a lifetime, more than 1 in 3 women, 43.5 million, and more than 1 in 6 men, 20.7 million, in the United States alone experience physical violence, sexual violence, and or stalking by a intimate partner. Experts agree that domestic violence is significantly underreported. Many survivors never contact law enforcement because of fear, financial dependence, concern for their children, shame, or fear they won't be believed. The FBI stats say domestic violence doesn't discriminate. It affects people of every race, age, religion, income level, gender, sexual orientation. While police have documented more than 1.1 million victims of serious domestic violence over a recent 5-year period, experts believe that the true number is much higher because so many survivors never report the abuse. So let's get Angela on the line, see if we can get a hold of her, man, and make sure I ain't stand her up too long. Whoa, 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 whoa. I need y'all to understand, man. I thought I sent her a text message. I apologize. I had one for you. Dang, I didn't hit send. Rushing to get back here. See if Angela picks up.
Hello.
Hey, what's good, Angela? How you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I do have you on speakerphone, like we talked about. Welcome to the Gray Beards Matter podcast, episode 29, Survivor Series, titled "You Are Not Alone." You there? Mike check.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
My
cool.
phone had went out.
Okay, cool. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if there's anything. So we already talked about. We're gonna ask you some questions. If I'm going too fast, holler at me.
Okay.
If it's a topic that you don't want to talk about, you already know what it is. It's a safe space. We don't even have to expand on anything. I appreciate you
Yes,
being
sir.
here. I appreciate you answering the phone. Um, for those who that know, we don't do any scripts here. We off the cuff and we keep it authentic. And I appreciate Angela being who she is and having shared part of her story. I can't even say recently that made me want to contact her about this particular topic. So, Angela, first of all, thank you. Thank you for trusting Great Bears Matter. And more important, thank you for trusting our audience with something so personal. I know this isn't easy.
Absolutely.
I know this isn't easy. And I want you to know that there's no pressure here. This is your story, told in your words at your pace.
Right.
Cool. So let's get busy. Let me ask you a question. We're going to start off with people getting to know you a little bit. Who was Angela before domestic abuse entered her life?
Family oriented, fun, loving. Loved everybody I was around. Um, I like to, just go out, be with my friends, I spend a whole lot of time with family. Um, but all that changed.
Okay. Did you have dreams or goals before?
Yeah, when I met him, I was in school for criminal justice.
Uh huh.
And then when my dad got killed, I had went to school for alcohol and drug counseling. But through everything, I had ended up just like walking away from all that. Um, I wanted a big family and a good marriage.
Okay, I'm going to answer the question that and you got to bear with me because I'm truly listening. Like I hope our squad is as well. Were you married to this man at any point?
was married to, actually, I'm still married to him. I'm trying to get him served right now, but I was married to him for a total of 20 years.
Mm. Okay. Well, what first first attracted you to this man?
We were introduced by mutual friends, um, had good conversation. The time we spent together was fun. Um, and then we had like lost contact for like, I guess like 5, 6 months.
Uh
I
huh.
didn't know where he had went. I didn't know what had happened. It was just like a abrupt, like dead silence. Um, and then when those 5, 6 months passed, he went looking for me. Um, and a friend of mine gave him my phone number, and we started conversating again. And it was like we both still had interest, so we was gonna see where things went.
Mm. 20 years is a long time to be leg-
Very, very long time.
legally attached. Um, as you look back over that timeline, uh, where did you notice where did you first notice that something wasn't right?
Um, Within a few months, I would say, we started dating and getting to know each other
Mm-hmm.
in like February, and then my dad got killed in the motorcycle accident he got killed in May, and it was like right after my dad got killed, everything started changing. More alcohol, more attitude, more verbal abuse. Then he went to go put his hand on me one night, and I lifted my hand and I accidentally smacked him in his face, trying to block him. And he said from that point on that I was going to get my tail whipped every day because I put my hands on him.
So, do you feel that he only made that turn because your father wasn't there as a man in your life to protect you?
He definitely knew I didn't have any other males in my life that would protect me. Um, and I do think if my dad was still living, none of what happened would have happened.
Okay. Because
Now, keep in mind, when I met him, I was 22, and he was 10 years older than me.
do you think the maturity level took a disadvantage turn for you?
Mm, I'm not going to say the maturity level. I would say I was more mature than he was. I would always try to talk him out of doing the stupid things that he was doing. And I would always try to fix the problems. But it was like I would see them coming. So I would always try to like fix it or figure out a way to get away from it. But it was like no getting away.
Is that because of his persistent pressure on you, or his
I could go into a different room and sit down just to get away from him, and he would come in that room and hover me, um, spit on me, call me names, smack on me, punch me, like anything he could do while he was hovering me.
so kind of
So
that kind of leads me to my next question. Was the abuse emotional, mental before it became physical?
no, it became physical first.
Mm.
It was definitely physical out the gate.
Okay, because you mentioned that uh, a mutual friend of you guys gave him your phone number. Uh, did anybody outside understand your situation?
I was very good at hiding it. I didn't want anybody to get involved and further problems because at the time I had to live with this man. I didn't have nowhere else to go. Um, I would say little things. I think after a while, and then it got to the point where if we were around friends or around my family, like my mom or somebody like that, he would do it in front of them.
He would do what
Um,
in front of them? That they
he would put his hands on me in front of them. He would cuss at me, call me names, just anything he wanted to do at that point in time. It even got to the point that one time he put his hands on me in front of my mother. My mother wasn't in good health at the time or whatever, and my mom stood up and said something, and he bucked on my mother. She called the police on him, had him removed from her house. Um, but he went back and apologized, and my mom was like, all right, I'm not gonna get in it, and y'all just figure it out. So, I mean,
was your mother
midway through, he had no cut cards in front of people.
was your mother a victim of domestic abuse?
No.
Okay. Um, when you first met this man, had you planned on him being your forever guy?
In the beginning, when the first night I met him, I really didn't like him. He was loud, and he just wasn't all the way my type at all. But he kept talking, and like I said, eventually conversations got good. So I just figured, hey, let's just see where it goes.
At what point did you know it wasn't normal though?
Around the time my dad died.
So let me ask you this, right? And you don't have to answer if you don't want to. The trauma of your father passing, assuming that you and your father had a close relationship based off our previous conversations, um, do you feel that the void of him passing allowed an opening for the type of behavior that man exhibited?
Mm, I'm not gonna say it did, but it's possible.
What kept you there longer than you expected?
Not having nowhere to go,
Mm,
the financial situation, um, not really like having nobody to turn to.
right. Um, and that's crazy, right? It's not crazy, excuse me. That's not the word. That's unfortunate because based off knowing that you and I were going to talk about this, I got a little deeper into exactly how deep domestic violence can be and a lot of the characteristics that go along with that. I knew about the emotional, I knew about the physical and the mental, but the other traits like the financial, the separation, things of that nature were kind of eye opening to me that I didn't really take notice to, right? Not
Mm-hmm.
until I saw it. Some things I might have tried to use my common sense and talk to other people that because you see some homeboys and some people some guys
Mm-hmm.
or some homegirls that you cool with and you're like, man, oh boy got you don't some things just don't look right, right? And
Right.
you can't really see the physical part about it, but you can see when something seems uncomfortable to somebody, right? So
Mm-hmm.
then when you describe your situation and that being a key factor coinciding with what I've read over the last couple of weeks, it's man, it if I had to say something to somebody that your story it's mirroring the facts,
Right.
How did it affect your confidence and sense of self esteem?
Everything that I tried to do, as far as like the things that the things I do. Um, so as far as everything that I tried to do to make money or anything like that, he would always knock it down. Um, he didn't want me doing anything that had anything to do with having to deal with other men. He didn't want me on the phone dealing with men, like with graphics and stuff like that, and the other stuff that I do. Um,
Has it
he
was
just
he that way
yeah,
all? in the beginning as well?
I seen little signs of jealousy, but it wasn't like it got in the like towards the middle and towards the end.
Right.
In the middle and the end, it got way worse. When I was doing all my printing stuff, he wanted that shut down. He wanted all the machines sold. He didn't want me doing anything where I had any type of money coming in or any type of interaction with another male. He didn't care about it being females, but he didn't want me having any interaction with males. And when I would ask him, "Why are you so jealous? Like, I'm here in the house all day long." I'm not jealous. But like he just would knock down everything I did, so it just kind of put me down in a rut, I guess.
Okay. I have a question based off of that testimony there. Uh, a lot of times, studies will show, or history will show, that jealousy and anger turn into rage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people who have that trait don't necessarily distinguish between which emotion is dominant, and typically or unfortunately rage is an expression, right? And when you couple that with jealousy, in your situation, did you find the more jealous, the worse it was?
Yes. There was one situation when I was working a project that went on 24/7 around the clock. He had passed out drunk on the couch. Two employees had got in a fight on the job site, and the owner, which was my boss, and his wife called me. We were on the phone discussing it, trying to figure out how to resolve the issue. Um, he jumped up, swore he heard me say something else. Grabbed my phone and threw my phone and busted me in my eye.
He threw
When he
the phone
busted
at
me in
you.
my Say that again.
He threw the phone at you.
Yeah, he threw the phone at me like he was pitching a baseball. I tried to dodge it, but when I tried to dodge it, I guess I moved more into it coming. And when the phone connected with me, it broke my nose, shattered all the bone around my eye, and damaged, I believe, my sinuses on that side. Um, so I found that when he was drinking, that he would, I don't know if he was delusional or if he just heard things, he thought he heard things that he wanted to hear. I don't know what it was. But every time a jealousy thing came into play with him being drunk, it would turn into rage.
Hmm.
And that's not even the only situation where it's turned like that. Like, I can remember one night, I had to lock myself in the bedroom door, and I mean, in the bedroom. And when I locked myself in the bedroom, I locked myself in the bedroom with my pit bull. And he came through my bedroom door with an axe, trying to get to me. And that was dealing with a similar situation, dealing with work, and him not wanting me to be on the phone with the men that I worked with.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to the beginning, and you said your mom called the police on him. Uh, did you ever?
Um, the police was called the night he did the throwing the phone and hitting me in my eye. Um, Actually, he was told for years coming up on that if it ever came down to me having to go to the hospital, that he was going to go to jail. and he was going to, like, I was leaving. I wasn't going to be, staying around for that. Not to mention leading all the way up to this, the eye incident happened in like 2020, 2021. Another reason on top of him doing that to my eye clip was because I had went and got my CDO. He didn't want me to have my CDO. But
And that's because he was under the impression that you'd be around more men.
well, trucks are it's a male industry.
It's a
We
male
know that.
dominant for sure.
And I've always worked around the guys dealing with the trucks, and he didn't like that. It was always F me in them trucks, F me in them trucks. Not realizing that was money coming into the household for us, and I
So
was trying to build something for us.
okay, okay, because I'm really trying my hard here not to. I'm trying hard to be gray bears matter, but at the same time, I'm talking to my homie. Uh, you said it earlier in your story that you would placate his actions, right? Uh, Did that ever turn into fear?
I would do what? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I said in the beginning you would try to see his issues, right, and try to curtail them from having to take place in the household or in your relationship. At any point, did that turn into fear? And if so, what did it look like on a day-to-day basis?
I walked on eggshells every day. I was scared of him every day. He would tell me um, that he knew he was going to kill me. He just didn't know when or how. And he said that like almost every day, as far as I can remember. Um, he would, as long as I can remember, and going back reading journals and things like that, because a lot of stuff I have blocked out, but he literally never went a day without putting his hands on me.
And I'm trying to get a hold of this. You guys have been legally married for 20 years. How long have you been legally separated, or has he been apart from you?
Um, I left once when my mom got sick in 2022,
Mm-hmm.
and I stayed gone for a year. I went back because I didn't have anywhere to stay. Um, and then in the last April 30th is a year. And I finally went and filed the divorce papers, and I'm finally on the road to where I just wanted to be done and over with and rid of him.
Well, congratulations for that. All right, I'm gonna take a station break, let you catch your breath, and then we're gonna continue on. Cool.
Cool.
All right. Hey, everybody, I appreciate y'all time in there. What's good? MD, Big Chuck. What's good, Cuzzo? So, uh, let me see here. Jarvon says it sounds like he's fighting his demons in the wrong way. I agree with you, good brother. I think that without casting the judgment, like we said in the beginning, he chose the path of least resistance, so we thought. And whatever, in my opinion, homeboy had issues that he needed addressed and was choosing to avoid that by hollering at, abusing Angela. Big Chuck said it sounds like she was cut outshining them and he couldn't handle that. Yeah, that could very well be true, Chuck. That's for sure. And that's ego. And ego is evil going on, of course, my granddaddy. Javon said it's more than just bro say? Um, I'm sorry. Uh, I'm sorry. It's more behind it than just men. It's an internal issue. Oh yeah, for sure. Hey, JH, we've definitely stated that, that domestic violence does not discriminate between men, women, age, sex orientation, nationality, none of that. Dig what I'm saying? Hey, for sure, bro. Yeah, you know it, bro. That's what it is, man. We definitely gonna keep it together. Um, I want to thank y'all for tuning in to episode 29 of the Great Beards Matter podcast, Domestic Violence Survivor Series. Keep your hands to yourself is the name of the title. I have my guest Angela today with me. She is sharing her story, and I appreciate her once again, and I appreciate y'all tuning in. We're gonna continue on with this here. You ready, Ange?
Whenever you are.
All right, cool. Um, was there a specific moment when you decided within the past a year ago to say, "Yo, I'm cool on all this"?
Um, yeah, a friend of mine stepped to me, a guy friend of mine, and he had been sitting back in my ear for, I guess, like the last 5, 6 years. Um, he went to court with me and all that when things went down. Um, and he kept telling me I was better than that. And I deserved better than that.
Right.
Every time something happened, it was like almost like he was an angel. Every time something happened, he knew that it happened and he would call me out of nowhere. Um, of course, he wanted to handle the situation. I wouldn't allow it. Um, and finally, last year, he kept talking to me. Come on, I'll give you a better life. Just get away from him. Um, so my uncle had got sick in April. Well, he was sick for a while, but they flew him out of state for a kidney and heart transplant, which when he made it there, they said that they couldn't do nothing. And that day that the hospital called and said that we had to get down there in a hurry, I packed a bag with 5 suits of clothes. I took 2 pairs of shoes, my work boots, and of course I had to take my Nike boots. And I left, and I never went back. Um, I ended up moving. Me and the guy that was trying to save me, I guess, the last 5 or 6 years.
Uh huh.
Me and him ended up moving in together. And 4 months later, he ended up dying in our living room floor.
Mm.
So he was the only savior I had, and I wish I would have listened to him sooner and realized that I actually deserved better. But unfortunately, I didn't.
What was the hardest part about leaving?
The change. Um, I mean, even with the situation being the way it was, um, I was already used to it. I was there for 20 years. Um, so being able to stand face to face with a man and have a conversation, and it be a solid conversation, and him not raising his hand at me, it took a while for me to like stop flinching. Um, like just the change of the whole situation, I guess, was the hardest thing to get used to. But then once I realized I was safe, I was okay.
So what's the if and this is kind of rhetorical, but to an extent because I don't know the answer. So if learning that you can really be safe in the presence of the opposite sex in that type of relationship, what surprised you the most about starting over?
You said what surprised me the most?
Yeah. Was it your
that I
strength?
actually had money and he wasn't taking, nobody was taking my money from me. Um, that I could walk freely through the house and not having to worry about somebody yelling at me or screaming at me for no reason. I mean, I mean, it still is shocks to this day, but just to know that somebody can care about you and not have to put their hands on you was something totally different for me.
Mm, okay.
Like the worst thing I think of all was just being yelled. Well, putting hands on me was bad because I've suffered a lot of changes from that.
The man
Like
broke your nose. He broke your
he
eye
broke
socket in your
well, he broke my
face.
nose. He broke my nose 6 months again. 6 months later, after the first incident. I mean, he knocked teeth out. I literally have no teeth from my canines back on both sides. I have scars. I have nerve damage. Um, Probably have a traumatic brain injury, but it ain't been diagnosed. But um, just the hitting in the head, like it. I didn't like being yelled at all the time. I definitely didn't like having nobody putting their hands on me. But
Oh,
just walking in a house and it being silent was so much different. I mean, it's silent now because I'm by myself, but when when Miguel was here, it was, quiet. Hey, how was your day? Do you want me to cook something to eat? Or have you ate today? Or you want to meet for dinner or something like that? Like, it was a whole bunch of just new stuff to me. I mean, I had been with this dude since I was 22 years old.
cool.
And
Hey,
he still, like, don't get me wrong, still to this day, like, if he sees me, it's straight bounce. Like, he wouldn't dare put his hands on me, not out in public, because he knows I'm not playing with him no more. But um, he's mouthy as all get out.
so two things. One, we don't want to use no other names for anybody else, right? And then two, when you say he knows that you're not playing with him, he knows you're not playing with him.
Well, the person that I moved in with made sure that, like,
You were
I
sure.
knew from that point on to either get the police to intervene or
I get,
protect myself.
for sure. I have no problem with that at all. I really. Now I'm going to reserve the comment. Okay, I like that. So now here we are, 20, 20 years later, or 19 years later, and we've made a decision that enough is enough. First of all, congratulations.
Yes, sir.
What
Thank you.
what did healing actually look like? And I don't mean this is personally. I don't want to give a damn about no other versions. No, I'm talking about you,
Personally,
right?
well, me and you talk, so it's been a long little journey in the last year. Um, I'm still healing.
So you,
I've went through depression. Then, of course, as soon as leaving, and then my friend dying, I hit the grief journey. I still have my days. I get upset. Um, I wonder why I ever allowed myself to go through things the way it did. I see a therapist weekly. Um, I'm just basically trying to work on me to see if I'll ever want to be in another relationship again.
do you do you look at the scars, or you just know that they're there because of the trauma or the PTSD that comes along with that? That
I
does.
have a hard time trusting anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Trust is a very big issue for me. Um, as I mentioned a little while ago, like hands get to moving, I get to flinching,
Right. Right.
get jumpy. So I just want to be in a position where I am at least, I don't know, more than halfway healed before I ever even try to jump out there like that again. Um, but nowadays, not the down men, but I don't know. Like, I just don't want to be around nobody.
That's not, if I had to
I
change.
definitely self isolate. Like, I isolate. I stay to myself.
Hmm.
I might conversate over the phone or whatever. But I stay to myself a lot. Like, I would say at least 85, 90% of the time I'm by myself. Um, if even if family invites me out, I don't go with them. I feel safe at home. I'm happy at home. I'm content. Um, I don't know. Like, isolation has been a big part of my process. Like, I've learned to eat alone, sleep alone, and that alone is good enough for me.
So I have a question for you based on that. You answered one of them, but I want to hear if there's a distinction between isolation and feeling trapped based off of the past.
I don't feel trapped. I isolate because I don't know. I guess I just feel like people are very judgmental,
Hmm.
and I've never really been a people person outside of the group of friends I had. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, my circle is very small. I don't have no friends no more. Um, and that all stemmed from being with him. He didn't want me going and hanging out. Like, I was a I was in the bars on the weekends. So after him, it was like, no, you're not going out. You're not going drinking. You're not hanging with your friends. And a matter of fact, the mutual friend that introduced us, me and her parted ways. Like, in the first year of him and me being married, she no longer wanted to have any type of communication with me. I didn't understand why. Maybe she knew something she didn't tell me, but yeah, my circle is very limited. Like, I hang with my aunt and my cousins, and that's about it. And that's very, very rare.
But sometimes the smaller the circle, the less the issues, right?
Exactly.
Okay. And I definitely feel you on the judgmental part or not wanting to be judged, which allows me to say thank you again for sharing your story on the Great Bears Matter because this is a non-judgmental zone, and I guarantee your safety on my word. So,
Can I say one thing to you?
oh yeah.
So, as far as I remember last week, in in the in the live you did last week,
Hmm.
someone said something about there's a lot of resources within the DMV. um, when the situation happened with, like, my eye and my nose getting broken the second time,
Hmm.
um, I was contacted by a victim's advocate. Um, and the first thing I said to her was, "Can you help me get out of this situation? Um, can y'all put me somewhere? Like, I don't care if it had to be DC, Maryland, Virginia, out of state. I didn't care. I just wanted to get away."
Hmm.
Her thing to me was they didn't have the resources. They didn't have the resources to put me anywhere. And with it being during COVID, they definitely didn't have the resources. So it was almost like not having anywhere else to go within my family or friends and not having no resources. Like, I was trapped.
That was trapped for sure. Wow. Well, I'm commending you on having the strength you probably didn't realize you had at that time, right? Whatever your reason for not giving up, I'm glad it existed. I hope that you see the strength in you even more now. But I don't want to put the pressure on you for having gone through something for 19 years and think that 1 year is going to heal you, right? That wouldn't be reality for you. So take your steps day by day. You have a choice and a chance in the morning, and I'm glad that you're choosing you. But I have two more questions, and then I'm gonna let you rock.
And that's fine.
If
Ask
you
whatever you need.
if you can see your younger self today, what do you think you would say to yourself?
Mm, if I could see my younger self today, what would I say? Um, I don't know. Just stay on the path that you was on, and don't let anybody interrupt that.
Okay, let me change it up then. If you could see, let's do the fly on the wall theory, right? Because old boy did what he did to you, usually in the confines of isolating you from the society. If you could be the fly on the wall and you saw that, what would you tell yourself?
Don't tolerate it. You're stronger than that.
Good.
Fight back if you need to.
Hmm.
And that was the big thing. Like, and I'm not like that now, but like coming up in my early 20s, I was a fighter. So it surprised everybody that I wasn't fighting back. But the only reason why I didn't fight back was because I was afraid it would get worse or it would lead to one of us really seriously getting hurt.
I can dig that. My last question.
Yep.
If someone's sitting in their car or in their bedroom or wherever they may be, and they're listening to it now or in the future, and they're living the life that you used to live, what would you want them to hear from somebody who survived it?
You're stronger than you think you are, and there are ways out. Don't give up and don't give in. That was my biggest problem. I gave in. Like every time one of them half-ass sorries came through, I just accepted it. Um, but don't give up, don't give in, and there's people out here that'll help you and that care about you and don't want to see you go through that.
Absolutely. Well, I care about you. I got purple in the background tonight for you. In the topic, purple is the domestic violence color. Angela, I want to say thank you, not just for being here, but for choosing the courage to come in over comfort tonight. I know the conversation wasn't easy, but I do believe someone listening needed to hear that, right?
Absolutely.
And to a certain degree, being hella cool with you, I think that I would pray that it did something for you as well.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So it's Thursday night. I appreciate you coming in. You
Thank
legendary.
you for having me.
Episode 29 is dedicated to you. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Yo, it's your man, Big Klip Eastwood. I really don't really have too much more to follow up on that. Um, man, that was heavy. I appreciate you guys tuning in tonight, man. Episode 29, Great Bears Matter podcast, where we are the mature authority. That's my girl, Angela. And she had a story to tell, and she told it. It took a lot of courage. And I hope somebody else has the courage to continue on. If there's ever an issue, ever a doubt, reach out to somebody. Great Bears Matter, holler at me. If I don't have the answer, I can definitely find it or find somebody who does. And we'll point you in the right direction. But like Angela, save yourself by all means. And on that note, thank you for tuning in. Great Bears Matter Podcast, episode 29. It's your man, Big Klip Eastwood, a.k.a. Mr. Great Bears Matter. And we are the mature authority. Don't you worry about nothing. And we out.